Welcome to Varsity College Football, your new home for college football and only college football. Thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to dive right in. Also, don't be afraid to subscribe. Click that red subscribe button. Helps the channel out a lot, or leave a comment. Whatever you want, I'll get on it. Let's talk about this. I've been holding my tongue on this for a bit. I just needed the time to talk about it because this stuff like this happens a lot, but this one was just so stupid. Obviously, Stephen A. Smith, you've probably seen by now, but he talked about how is Notre Dame still relevant, blah, blah, blah. Like, why are we talking about them over someone like LSU and all this stuff? I was like, well, Stephen A., you know why they were being talked about so much? Is because the new playoff model. Obviously, the 5-7 playoff model. And they can't get a bye because they're not in a conference. But if they're the 5 seed, I mean, you get a free win against a group of 5 and then the weakest Power 5 champ. So that's not really a bad thing, actually, when you think about it. But let's just sit here because this happens a lot. He talked about, after he bashes them, by the way, on First Take, he then says, I'm in support of Marcus Freeman, what he's doing there, but I've been there before, blah, 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 like backtracking these comments like someone's forcing him to say this. If I'm Marcus Freeman, I'm playing this in the locker room. Like, no, don't sit here and say, I'm here for you after just bashing. My favorite part about this is he goes, how are they relevant? It's like, you know how much Notre Dame has done in the past few years? Literally. What they do year in, year out. I mean, you're talking about a top 12 team, 7 of the past 8 seasons, at least around there, finished in the top 8 half of the past 8 years. And then obviously you talk about the year they went to the championship. They've been to the playoffs twice. They've done more than 95% of college football. The one thing that I find super funny about Notre Dame, which I liked about this, a lot of people came together in protection or saying don't say that about Notre Dame, which is kind of surprising when you talk about the college football landscape because everyone likes to. It's like a thing now to hate Notre Dame even more than ever, which it always kind of has been, but now it's just stupid. But you're talking about Notre Dame. When you think about Notre Dame, people will lie and say no. 95% of college football fans would trade their success, history, whatever for Notre Dame's. 4th most in wins, 3rd most in claimed national championships. Shit, you're talking about the first in consensus All-Americans, tied for the most Heismans, 1st NFL draft picks, 4th all-time in weeks in the AP poll. I mean, you're talking about Notre Dame, one of the biggest alumni bases. And then this is my favorite part, the hypocrisy in this. You know who talks about the Dallas Cowboys more than ever? He's like, Notre Dame hasn't won a national title since 1988. You know who hasn't won a Super Bowl since I've been alive, Stephen A.? The Dallas Cowboys. You know who talks about the Dallas Cowboys more than anybody? Stephen A. Smith. You know why? Because their fan base is massive. Because that logo is global. The same thing for Notre Dame. It's the same thing. Like, the fact that he knows. Like, I know for a fact ESPN had to have forced him to say this. I'm sorry, but there's no way. Like, you don't see him talk about Dallas Cowboys all the time, and then we're going to have this Notre Dame conversation? You're talking about 2 logos that are universally recognized. You're talking about a huge alumni base in terms of a huge fan base. It's hilarious. It's hypocrisy. Notre Dame, like, we got to stop this modern day hate of Notre Dame that's become like a meme. It's like a brainwashed thing for younger kids coming up now on social media and stuff to just hate Notre Dame because it's like the popular thing to do. Notre Dame has always been relevant, and they will continue to be relevant whether you like them or not. Like, this hating of Notre Dame, most of the time, the overrated stuff, blah, blah, blah. It's like most of the time the games they've lost, they weren't even favored in. So no, they're not overrated. If anything, they're literally always the most properly rated team. They usually always beat the teams they're supposed to beat, and then they lose to the teams they're supposed to lose. To me, that's a properly rated team. And to me, Notre Dame is always a good football team. I'm not saying they're great, but in my lifetime, they've always been a good football team. People hate out of jealousy, and people hate to cover up their insecurities. And that's what this Notre Dame stuff comes back to. And I was actually happy to see a lot of people that normally shit on Notre Dame come to the defense of Notre Dame here. So people who don't know college football, don't talk about college football. Please don't say stupid things. Just please don't. This was ridiculous, and I just had to say something. And also for the people who came to the defense of Notre Dame that normally shit talk Notre Dame, open your eyes a little bit. because you can't come back and say all this stuff now. And then next cycle, if we come around next year and Notre Dame should probably make the college football playoff this year, don't come around saying, oh, they're overrated. Oh, all this. Nope. No, 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 no. You come to the defense now, you got to understand what program you're defending. You're talking about one of the staples of college football. Notre Dame is a staple of college football. You have to recognize it. So don't hate on it. I just wanted to come out there. This is like a little video rant, but we talked a little Notre Dame. Respect Notre Dame. Stop disrespecting the gold and blue.